Hey everybody, this is Thomas.
This is Taylor.
This is Ryan.
And we're back again with another 3 Dudes 1. Oh no, I clipped my fingernails. I can't make this happen.
Fail.
Blog, podcast. I messed it up again. Shit.
That's okay. That's okay.
This week, I'm drinking Rheingeist Peach Dodo. A Goes sour ale with peaches. This German
That's
Goes
easier to
is
endorse
bright
beer.
and frisky,
But if
tart
they said it's free beer, that'd be
and
great.
saline, and dances on the palate with punches of peach. Thirst quenching beyond all imagination, Peach Dodo is the finest of liquids for a beach picnic or for making history.
Too bad we're not at a beach.
We are making history.
The beach of my life. This podcast is for the week of May 9th,
Find your beach.
which is the actual week.
Yeah.
So last week we only did a video on Overwatch, and I could have almost talked about Overwatch as my topic to say how upset I am
So
that
good.
it's gone.
Yeah. We all need Overwatch Anonymous.
The video, we were like pretty positive on Overwatch, but since the video got posted, I got like 4 times as positive on Overwatch as I was then.
It's pretty good.
Taylor and I went to a Cincinnati game developer monthly meeting thing.
IDGA.
IDGA. Just before the podcast, and everybody there, as a little introductory thing, said, "I miss Overwatch." So it's definitely gotten
Did
its
you all
hooks
go
in
around
everybody.
And say who your favorite character was.
We should have done that.
We actually
It was like for like real game developers. So it was like, okay, say where you're from or what you're working on, and like what games you're playing if you're playing any games. And everybody's like Overwatch, and then it got to like me and Taylor, and we're like, we don't make games.
We don't make games.
I felt kind of
You could
weird.
say you're a developer, Taylor.
I did.
Like,
He said
I was a
he
software
is a
dev out of
developer.
Blue Ash. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't go into specifics like everybody else because I felt like that was unnecessary because I didn't want to bore people with the fact that I'm a full stack.
Hey, whoa.
I'm a
I
full
developed
stack developer for C#.
sweet car apps.
Sweet car apps. It's pretty good. Peanut butter jelly.
Yeah. So then we came back and proceeded to work on our new studio some more. Did some heavy lifting. Everybody got a little sweaty, so we had to take a break. And then we were working with our new recording software, trying out a new setup.
Doing all them things.
Got some sweet audio.
Yeah, well, there'll definitely be bumpers made out of those things, so don't worry about that.
I hope that.
If you like the new format,
let us know.
like, comment, subscribe, hashtag retweet, Facebook like, Instagram. Let us know. Let us know if you like this setup
how are
or
they-
if you prefer the couch.
Are they just gonna like take a picture of their screen with Instagram?
They're gonna, I don't know.
So, okay, all right.
It's like a social media joke.
I didn't. Oh, okay. I'm not in the loop for that one.
Oh, okay. But the new setup is cool. See, I like that we're sitting in chairs because after watching the video last week, I realized that after the first 20 seconds, I just kind of slumped into a ball
Yeah, you did.
and sat there the whole time just like... which I didn't like. So now I'm forcing everybody to sit upright.
You liked sitting there. You just didn't like looking at it.
Yes.
That's what it came down to.
Yes. And we will be investing in better mic stands.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes,
hold
we
my
will.
mic.
He's gonna
He's professional.
punch the squid over there.
So, where to start? There's been
She volunteered
some
to
cool
start.
stuff. Oh, I just meant about like the week in general.
Oh.
Yeah, it has been some pretty cool stuff this week.
Some pretty cool stuff. Uncharted 4 came out, and we're
That's
not
a thing.
talking about it.
We forced Thomas to skip Uncharted 4 to come to trivia last night.
I was trying to do work for the people.
Yeah, he wasn't very happy.
We were selfish, Thomas.
Yeah, I played remote. Once I get Time Warner does their internet upgrades here, and my internet changes from 5 or 30 down, 5 up to like 300 down and 100 up.
I think your dog wants her ball.
Is her ball up there?
Yeah.
Whoa, where did that ball come from?
Underneath the couch we just moved.
Oh, sweet.
I didn't know if she was supposed to have. Anyway,
She can have anything she wants. She's a spoiled brat. So, what was I talking about?
Uncharted 4 remote play.
Uncharted 4. Oh, remote play. Once I get my upgrade to have an upload speed higher than 5 megs, like once I get to 10 or 20 megs, remote play is going to be fucking perfect. Like, it's already great.
Yeah.
I was playing it at work, and mistakenly, I called my boss over. I was like, hey, Mark, you want to see something cool? Look at this. I'm playing my PlayStation from home through the internet.
Why would you do that?
And he was, well, because, you want to
I mean,
show
it's
off.
still super cool, but I would
I was
definitely
like,
not be like,
this
yo,
is-
boss.
This was during your lunch, right?
This is my lunch.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Like, I was like,
Oh,
these are the best.
So was his immediate concern, how much of the pipe is that taking?
No, it was not. The pipe is
That's
fat
usually
now.
his concern.
No, we have a nice pipe. But he was like, oh, that's cool. That looks cool. That bridge, like, looks real. And I was like, okay, that's what you focused on. And then he's like, well, when do you start playing? And I thought he, like, thought I was in a cutscene. I was like, oh, no, this is real gameplay. And he was like, yeah, I know. I can see you moving it. But, like, when you actually, what do you do? Do you just walk around the whole time? I was like, well, it's
Stop
the
being such a
beginning.
fuckboy, Thomas. Play the game. Like, what's going on here?
Clearly, you don't understand Uncharted.
I was like, it's the beginning. There's, like, exposition before you get into the shooting. He's like, okay, well, just let me know when you do the shooting, because that's what video games are about.
That's what I really want to see right now, Thomas. Okay.
And I was like, okay. And then I made it
He's
to
so
a later scene, and I was like, oh, Mark, you want to see some shooting? I'm about to shoot some guys. So I called him over, and I thought he'd be like, oh, wow, that looks cool. Look at that guy fall over. That explosion looks cool. And then he sat behind me and watched me play for 20 minutes, and he was like, that was cool. I think I'm going to buy one of those. And then I was like, oh, yeah, there's a VR headset coming out later this year, so I can strap on the headset and have it, like, huge. And he was like, I'm going to buy one. I'm going to buy one. I'm definitely buying one.
You just converted him.
Yeah, well, then I told him that it would cost $400 for the console plus $500 for the headset.
And
And
he's
he was like, I could buy, like, all my kids' Christmas presents for that.
Yep.
But
Kids.
Uncharted 4 is cool. Maybe I would say, well, I don't know. We'll figure it out later.
What?
I don't want to drag on the prologue of the podcast.
That's all we are.
We need
We're
to.
just one big
I'll just
piece.
go right into my topic because I'm talking about the best game, and by the best game I mean not the best game.
Call of Booby.
Call of Duty, Infinite
Got
Warfare.
duty in the name.
Wait. I haven't actually listened to the name until you just said it.
It's
It's
Infinite
really
Warfare.
Infinite Warfare.
Not like Infinity Warfare. Infinite.
Or not like Infinity War as a Marvel. Infinite Warfare.
Or Infinity Ward, the developers.
Infinity War.
of
that
Call
would
of
actually be really
Duty.
funny if it's Call of Duty Infinity Ward. We're gonna skip the pretentious titles and we're just gonna say this is what developer did what.
So, like, everybody knew that they were going to make an announcement last week, and everybody was on Twitter was really hoping that they'd go back to an old school game of
Old school in
as
form
in
or
boots on the ground. So the
Yeah,
big thing that people are kind of tired
Too
of
complicated these days.
is thrusting and jumping and people flying across the map with all this like bullshit stuff. So everybody was just tweeting hashtag boots on the ground.
Hashtag get back to the basics.
Yeah. And that is like the farthest thing we got because now we're going to different planets
Call of Duty in
and
space.
colonizing other planets and thrusting around and flying around in space and using grappling hooks and all this just complete bullshit.
So when you say this, because I haven't even watched the trailer, are you fighting aliens then?
No, so I guess there's some kind of rogue people that are like rogue group that is trying
Elon
to
Musk.
like I don't fully understand it.
Illuminati.
It's humans versus humans.
Because so far, the biggest thing that's making me think, why in the world do they even bother? Is like, okay, so if they're going to these planets and colonizing, how did they get there first? Without anyone knowing they were going, right? You can't get there and be like, how did you get here? They have to launch a spaceship off of
Oh, I'm
Well, it
sure
sounds-
the story will resolve that for you, Taylor.
somehow. Oh, I'm sure they will.
I mean, the awesome campaign.
well, I'm sure
Which
will be-
supposedly they are actually doing some things to the campaign to make the campaign better, and that like you can. It's not just going to be like mission to mission to mission. In that it'll be like, okay, well you can. It's kind of like that, but you're actually like choosing what order you want to do it in, and like it's like you have to either go to this planet and fight your way to this outpost, or you can go to this other planet and save this hostage or something, or blah blah blah. And that there's not like a completely linear story of. I mean,
That's
the
fair.
levels
That's fair.
are
That's a
still
little different.
strictly linear in nature.
Yeah.
Um,
As is their MO.
but the one weird thing is, so after everybody watching the announcement of Infinite Warfare was just bitching the whole time. Well, rightfully bitching because the game's going to suck. Out of nowhere, they drop,
hey, by the way,
we're going to remake Modern Warfare 1, and it's going to ship with Infinite Warfare for an additional $20.
But not separate. That's the important part to take away from that. You
Yes.
have to buy Infinite Warfare to get the ability to buy the remastered Modern Warfare.
Completely makes sense because
no one's going to buy that game. They're just going to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to take the Modern Warfare remake. Thank you very much. See you later.
Exactly. And I mean, and it just completely break the community in half of, I mean, Infinite Warfare would still sell plenty of copies, but like a lot of the player base would just buy Modern Warfare.
Is that mostly what your topic is? Just
So
because, like,
no, but I wanted to like where I wanted to go is like where do we think like
got some shit in my eye.
where do we think?
Where do we think like why are they doing it? Like what? I know the big thing is like they're trying to. I mean, are they doing it strictly because they realize Infinite Warfare? They've gone down the path so far, and they're like, this game's not going to work. How can we sell games? I know what we can do.
Yeah.
We can make an extra $20
Yeah.
by remaking 10 maps from an old game and reselling that with the new game.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So,
Technical difficulties.
physical difficulties. I would definitely say that there has to be some sort of nuance in the fact that they think the new one's going to suck, right? Because I think what you hit on is actually very, very, very important in the sense that they're basically splitting their player base here. If they're going to launch them both at the same time, the question becomes, okay, do I want to play Infinite Warfare multiplayer or do I want to play Modern Warfare?
Yeah, and it's not. It doesn't sound like it's Modern Warfare is just like this portal. Like you'll load up Infinite Warfare and then you'll click. Like there's four. It's like
a different disc,
campaign,
isn't it?
multiplayer, zombies, Modern Warfare 4.
'Cause like
it's like, oh, I start up my Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, do I click Infinite Warfare or do I click Modern Warfare? I'm clicking Modern Warfare.
It's essentially the question of, like, if you look at the Master Chief Collection, you could switch between the games, essentially. Right?
Yeah, so in
That would be
Master
different.
Chief Collection, you started up Master Chief Collection, and everything was in
One
that
menu,
one
right.
game, in the game itself.
Exactly.
This is going to be 2 games. I don't think they're actually going to be a Modern Warfare disc. I imagine
It'll probably
for the
just
people
be,
who buy the disc,
I mean, it'll probably just be
will
DLC,
be Infinite
quote-unquote.
Warfare, and then there'll be a code inside of everything. It's like, put this code in,
Get your game, download
start your
it.
download of Modern Warfare 4 Remastered.
But I really do think that's. It doesn't make sense to me either that they would release them at the same time. It seems like it would really like
I mean,
intentionally
I guess
hampering the first game.
my question and where I wanted to go is this strictly
it's got to be a
to get more money. They realize Call of Duty is in decline, and this is one last attempt for Infinity Ward, who.
Well, I mean, this isn't that different from like DICE right now either, right? I mean, they're going back to their roots too with the next game.
I mean, they're going back to their roots, but they're doing something completely different.
That is fair.
Because
That is
a
fair.
lot of people, I saw some speculation of a lot of people were saying before this that Infinity Ward was going to go back to World War II, but like not just straight World War II, put some kind of like
twist on it,
like
zombies.
well, not like not
Wolfenstein.
necessarily like somebody went back in time and gave the Nazis advanced weaponry or something.
That would be
Of
dope.
like
I'd play that game.
something like
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Wolfenstein or
I had
like
that game. I get to play
Captain
it.
America, where it's like they had the Tesseract and they got advanced
the
technology
Hydra-
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so something like a lot of people were speculating that could happen, and that's kind of, I mean, I don't want to steal what you're doing, but that's a lot of what Battlefield and DICE are doing. Is it sounds like
Mine's more generic anyway.
I haven't seen DICE's trailer.
Oh, I saw
I
it.
know
You
it's,
haven't seen the trailer?
Oh, it's good.
it's
too.
World War
I
One.
got hyped.
But that's kind of the same premise, though. Is like it's World War One, but with like advanced weaponry and things,
Mm-mm.
or it's
No.
just straight World War
It
One?
is.
Straight up.
In
Oh.
the trailer, a dude beats another dude over the head with the
A
spade
bludgeoning
they
stick.
used. Well, this bludgeoning stick, but also later in the trailer, he beats someone over the head with that spade the soldiers would use to dig the trenches, like they would have done. Like, it's brutal.
It's like torture porn. So I actually have a question.
Yes.
I'm gonna like backtrack us,
Okay.
and you might have talked about this while I was fixing myself.
We didn't talk about much.
But Thomas's question. Here we go.
I had sweat from my brow
That's great.
from our work earlier getting my eye, and then I rubbed it with the back of my hand, which had sweat. So then I just had like sweat on sweat in my eyeball. and
Sweats
it
on
hurt.
sweats on sweats.
It really fucking hurt.
Do you have any sweatpants?
Racks on racks.
So
What about sweatpants?
I haven't seen this, and I haven't thought about it until you were just talking. This Modern Warfare remake. One, have you guys seen the Digital Foundry video on it? It is a complete
No.
remake. It is not. They
It's
didn't.
not a
Yes.
reimagining.
It's
not
they
like
didn't like up-res the engine. It's totally remade in the new engine with new assets and everything.
which is concerning.
Have they said that it's the full game,
Nope.
or is it only single player?
As in,
It's the full campaign
and
plus 10 multiplayer maps,
Okay.
that are fan favorites.
which all of them are like the best maps.
I mean,
so
I
far
didn't
that
even
they've
know there were
announced.
more than 10 maps in the original game.
Well,
There
And I
wasn't a
played
lot.
like
There
100
weren't,
hours.
but
By
there was,
the end
I'd
of
say, like,
DLC,
16,
there was
17.
probably like 18 maps.
Okay, yeah. I only played the
Um,
vanilla.
So
The vanilla. That's such a
I
weird
mean,
phrase.
it's-
like you're playing ice cream.
they didn't need to make all 18 maps or
Right,
whatever
yeah.
it was, or
Yeah,
20
there's
maps
definitely
Okay.
a
or
few that I
whatever.
would like
But
to
it's
never
not
see
going to
again.
come out like a week before. Like somebody got it early and they're like, guys, it doesn't have the multiplayer.
No,
No,
Okay.
no, they've come
Well,
out
if
and
it
said
did, that'd be
everything
really
that like
awkward.
even it's gonna even have what is it? Dedicated servers for the multiplayer of like Modern Warfare.
Which is a
That's
big deal for
interesting.
consoles,
Like-
I'm sure.
See, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
all of that's very interesting to me. I wouldn't be surprised if did Infinity Ward make this
Yes.
Infinite Warfare? Okay, I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if next year they come out with a World War II.
Infinity Ward made the Modern Warfare series, all
Right.
3 games,
All of them.
and then
Black Ops was
Ghost.
insane.
Yeah, so it was Modern Warfare,
Well, actually,
World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black
Black
Ops
Ops,
1, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2,
Ghost.
Ghosts. So then Ghost was the last Infinity Ward game,
Okay,
and that kind of flopped.
Hard.
That was the last boots on the ground game, but that was the beginning of like
when things got out of
pre
hand.
like or like
Pre-
newer
yeah.
technology,
Futuristic
technology.
Right, right.
And then we had Advanced Warfare, which just went all out, and then Black Ops 3 again kind
Went
of
even
toned it.
farther.
Well,
I think they went farther.
they went farther on like the weapons and stuff,
Yeah.
but they toned down like
Oh,
the
it was-
thrust
yeah. It's
jumping
not
and
nearly
everything
as,
of
it's not
like
nearly as absurd, but I still feel like since it was so much more baked into the central experience of the fact that every gun you had particle beams, you had little firefly drones that went out and killed people. Like,
yeah. I guess the one thing that really moved Black Ops 3 into something that they hadn't done before was the specialist bonuses,
yeah.
which were like supers. There's like 8 different specialists, and each one over time of the game, your specialist would build up, and then
So it's
you'd
an
get,
ultimate.
like, an
Yeah,
ultimate
it was.
ability, basically.
Which really, I mean, honestly, I hope they never bring that back. I was fun and it was interesting, but it was the most annoying thing in the world where a game that's supposed to be so centered around gunplay, you can't do anything against some of that.
Yeah.
Like, unless sometimes if you have a good enough shot, you can take him out before they get to you.
You know what's really great? In Overwatch, when Pharah goes up for her ultimate and you're a Black Widow and you're like, beep, nope.
I mean, like, there's literally a specialist bonus where a person gets a golden gun, like golden
one
eye
shot.
golden gun, where it's just you point it at somebody and you shoot it and they just die,
They die.
wherever you hit them.
Doesn't matter.
Nice. I enjoy that.
I mean, yeah, like I'm saying, it was kind of fun. It was an entertaining aspect, but it really just got more and more annoying as the time went on because
Right.
I would try to play tactically, and you can't play tactically when someone's just gonna walk in the room and slam some spikes on the ground as you're dead. There's no gunplay. There's no interlude there. You're just dead.
Yeah.
Uh huh. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
Then again, I suppose I haven't really watched much high, like MLG.
So
But anyway,
I guess our messages that this day that this came out was, okay, I'm done. I'm not buying.
like game over.
Like Call of
This is
Duty's
out.
dead to me.
And then 2 minutes later, you're like, oh, by the way, Modern Warfare.
And then I was
4
just like,
son of
so
a-
we messaged us like Infinite Warfare. This is gonna suck. I'm not buying it. And then I was just like, oh my
oh
god,
my god, they're bringing it back.
they're bringing back Modern Warfare.
the only game that I actually.
And then
stuck with
and then
for
they
a
found
very long
out
time.
after the fact they announced, yeah, we're not selling Modern Warfare separate
isn't
at
that-
all. Which
Which
I'm
is
just
stupider?
waiting.
That's a good question. Which do you think is stupider? Do you think they should have sold it separately?
No.
Well, they're already launching it at the same time. Do you think that's going to really make a difference?
If they want,
okay,
they want the Call of Duty franchise to actually die, they'll sell it separately.
because then they would have just produced this game for nothing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 6 months
You're
down,
like, I don't have anything else. That's
6
exactly what I
months
was thinking.
down the line,
Yeah.
maybe they'll start selling Modern Warfare
but only
separate.
once the sales have hit. So
Yeah,
that they've at least recouped
way
the
down
cost.
the line,
Do you-
I think.
Do you? I mean, you're the one who's asking the question, but do you think this is an indication of more decline? Like the fact that they're just like throwing this out there. Like what do you think about it?
I think so. Have a feeling Modern Warfare, unfortunately, is going to boost sales of Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, I'd like
Not just artificially by increasing the price another $20,
but
like,
people will
people
only buy
that
game
will-
for Modern Warfare.
will buy the game and only play Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Like, it will be done.
Which that's the most
and-
confusing part for us, right? I mean,
So
split
I
it
have a
ways, like-
feeling we'll come out and we'll see these sales, and then sales will be of Infinite Warfare will be
Good.
close to similar to
Advanced
the
Warfare, right?
Black Ops 3, and it'll be just as good as Black Ops 3. And they'll say, see, we sold just as much as Black Ops
It's
3.
fine.
We're doing
It's
great.
doing
Everything's
great."
hunky dory.
And then we noticed that only 5% of them didn't buy Modern Warfare, and you start to wonder, which one are they playing?
I mean, the cheapest bundle. There's 3 bundles that give you Modern Warfare, and the cheapest one is $80. And then there's like
Pretty
$150,
penny.
and then like a $500 bundle that gives you like fucking I can't
a ticket to win a
quadcopters
Jeep-
and
a Jeep or
bullshit.
something.
I
Did
don't
you get
know.
a Titanfall collector's edition?
I should have. I wanted
No.
that statue pretty bad.
I thought we talked about that.
I wanted to get one.
I
I have yet to justify.
I haven't bought
collector's edition
any
to myself.
like super. If I almost bought the Destiny collector's edition, was the closest
should
I
have.
ever came to
They got some
that
cool
had
stuff,
like
too. The
a
Ghost-
real
the
life
Ghost
ghost.
edition.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, let's just like do a little sidebar
Sidebar.
Destiny
Sidebar.
topic by Thomas.
Thomas, Destiny.
Did you?
topic.
I heard today
Oh,
that Activision in like an earnings call or something talked about Destiny numbers, and the average Destiny player has spent over 100 hours in game.
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
That's probably like the best retention of any game ever.
I mean,
I've spent well over 100 hours. In that
Like,
game.
like that's not.
I'll
they're
go
not
home and
saying,
look
like,
it up
remember-
and message
do you
you.
remember like was it 8 months? Was it like 12 months ago? I don't know. A while ago when they keep announcing those statistics, like our users spend an average of 3 hours online every time they log on.
Right.
I would actually argue that number is a little skewed because one, you're probably online the second you hit the A button to log into the game. Then you have to choose a character. You load.
Well,
it,
yeah, I
you have
mean,
to load
that's
them,
fine,
Well,
that's
I'm saying,
fair.
what my point is, up until very recently, it wasn't a very streamlined process to do things like pick up your daily quests, go to certain places, load up certain missions. Like it would literally take me 15 to 20 minutes to really get into doing something. And then
Right.
another 5 to 10 minutes just to get out of the game, essentially. So, granted, it's not like that's like super bad downtime or something. But I would
Right.
still say, when you do that, and I only play, maybe 1 to 2 hours at a
40
time.
and a half hours of gameplay.
40
40 and a half days. Sorry.
days.
Oh, I
Okay.
was gonna say only 40 hours. I'm like, what?
So-
did you like? What? Tell me your
like,
secrets,
no,
Sherpa.
40 and a
What's
half days.
crazy is this isn't like the top 50% of our people play
no,
over
yeah.
the average of
average.
everybody
The
playing
average.
Destiny has over 100 hours of game
You should have
time.
shared that. We'd have been talking about that all day.
That is like
That's
fucking crazy.
That's intense.
I barely even. There are a few games that I hit over 100 hours in, even Dark Souls.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Destiny's the best.
I'm not saying it's the best. I'm saying it holds players.
I forget who was the guy. Someone else at the top was saying
It's-
he's a Destiny player, and he's
I
like,
mean,
I
I'm-
can't get
I
away
mean,
from it. You
we-
can't.
We've jokingly said it before, but like The people that play Destiny legitimately love that game so much and just want it
To succeed.
to be so good.
I really think Destiny 2 is going to be pretty crazy. Because because honestly, out of all the things that people have been complaining about, all the things that people have been saying, especially on Reddit, like every day there's a Bungie, please do this. If they're even listening to half of those suggestions 6 to 12 months ago, they're going to have something that's way more, just about in every
Just way
facet.
more.
Way more. Just going to be like, it's going to be easier to use, it's going to be quicker, it's going to be all that kind of crap. I don't know. Maybe that's me.
I feel you. Okay.
I'm an optimistic guy.
Destiny topic
Not an
over.
optimistic guy. Sidebar none. Back to Call of Duty. Or are we done with that? You done with that?
Oh.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm good. I'm done with Call of Duty.
Oh, okay. So,
I think it's gonna sell just as well, unfortunately, and then it'll be interesting to see what
where it takes it.
Sledgehammer does with. I mean, already looking forward to the next. Like, what's the next Call of Duty? Like,
Well, you
is it gonna be
right?
Advanced Warfare 2?
I guess so.
Advanced Warfare.
Poo. I mean, it actually is awkward that we're talking about whether or not it's declining, whether or not it's going to continue. But in reality, there is a game that's already 1 year in development, right? And there's 1 game in 1 year in development and 1 game in 2 years of development now, right? Because was it 2 years ago that they started 3 teams, or was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are already 2 other games in production right now. So if this is Infinity Ward's swan song, which you know what, actually, that might be the reason that they're like, you know what? We're remastering this bitch before it goes out the door, and you can't do anything about it. And they're like, all right, fine, we'll just sell it for $20. Who cares?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was nobody working at Infinity Ward anymore that made the original Modern Warfare.
I would actually probably guess there isn't. I mean, Dave and...
Well, they
what's
brought
the guy's
in
name?
that Raven Studios that's been working like on the side a lot has come in and like
We're
I
just gonna
believe
take
they
over.
were the main contributing like team that worked on the Modern Warfare 4 remake.
Probably.
Like they just said, which they
Modern
helped
Warfare 1.
Modern Warfare 1, yeah. Modern Warfare,
Call of Duty 4.
Call of Duty 4,
Modern
Modern
Warfare.
Warfare 1, blah
That's
blah.
the
Modern
reason I hate their
Snorfare.
numbering system, because
Yeah.
half the time it's like, is it Call of Duty 9? But it's Advanced Warfare
Well, they
3?
didn't. I
Like-
mean, they didn't realize what the game was going to be when
Oh,
it
yeah,
came
yeah,
out.
granted, at the
Because
time,
they
thought it was
just
a
had
offshoot.
Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4,
And then everyone's like,
and
I
it
need
just
more
happened
soap.
to be like Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Like was just the tagline,
Man,
and they
it
had no
wasn't
idea
like
what it was
so
gonna be.
great when Call of Duty 4 came out.
It was great.
It was a totally different world.
I played that
Also,
beta.
Call of
like,
Duty
it was
4
my
is
life.
like the first game that I like started playing online.
I think that was
Yeah.
actually my first beta.
Wow, I didn't play in the beta. One other sidebar.
Because Katie got me Call of Duty 4 and then got me an Xbox Live subscription.
Aww.
Cute.
One other sidebar that's unrelated to anything you guys care about, because I don't actually think so. Have either of you played The Last of Us?
Watch me care about it. No, I have not played the last
Negative.
Okay. Also, have either of you played Half-Life 2?
Yes.
No.
Have I finished it? No.
Okay. Because I saw it again today. A bunch of people were praising The Last of Us for being like this amazing, like held up as the best game ever, and
Oh, yeah, well, everyone always does
the
that.
best story of all time, whatever.
Yeah.
Like game immersion with characters and
Joel's
whatever.
my hero. It's Joel, right? I'm pretty sure.
The Last of Us is the baby version of Half-Life 2 made for consoles. Only 10 years later.
I'd see.
If you think The Last of Us is the best game ever, go play Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Sorry. I just need to repeat that on the podcast every time.
we apologize for the interruption.
Every time I hear about people talking about The Last of Us being like the best
best.
story game ever, so that someday
Someone that hasn't even finished Half-Life 2 feels like I need to confirm that statement. I need to go back and play it, but it's one of those things that I always keep forgetting. Like, oh, I could go do
You could
that.
hold your mic. In your
no, I
hand.
don't want to hold it.
I
I just
like
want a
having
new
my
Taylor,
hands
okay,
free.
Call of Duty's over. Start talking about
Okay,
something
so
else.
it's a good segue because I'm also talking about war games. But there was an interesting article that I read recently on Polygon that talks. Well, it was kind of really more mentioning.
It wasn't a Polygon article, was it?
I thought it was Polygon.
I thought it was an Engadget article.
Engadget.
I shared it. I should know.
Engadget.
but I think it was an Engadget article.
It
You're right.
100%.
It's really
Engadget
It
unimportant.
100%
or
wasn't
Polygon.
an
It's really
Engadget.
unimportant about this particular article because they're
It's
not
the article about goriness, right?
Yeah, but they're not. It's not they're not the first people to write about this. They're not the first person to talk about how awkward it sometimes make people feel. I mean, so basically, I don't remember who wrote the article. I don't remember the title of the article, but the idea was just that Battlefield 1 is going back to its roots in World War 1. And, I was very, very much so into when I was in high school. I did a lot of reports around D-Day and stuff like that.
D-Day was
D-Day
World
is
War
not
II.
World War
But the
One.
point is, I was about to say I also did things in World War I. I was very, very much so interested in the two Great Wars. So what's weird about it is that a lot of people have been kind of mentioning this over time around things like one of the big use cases that they kind of draw attention to is how everyone felt when Gears of War first came out. And you saw them rev up that chainsaw on the Lancer and then just cut a dude in half. Right? Just right there on screen. And everyone's just like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Oh my God. But in reality, half the people in the audience were like, that was unnecessary. That made me feel uncomfortable, right? Or at least some people
Yeah,
did.
I was like
So
12, so I loved it.
The point of this article was essentially to kind of ask, where do we draw that moral line for this kind of art form? Where do we figure out if we've crossed the line and said, this is just gory for the sake of gory, which there are some games like, I don't know, like what is it? The one where you're like you have 15 minutes to escape your job and kill as many people as you can as you get out, or something like that. Isn't it like Hotline Miami or something like that?
Hotline Miami is not that, but it is very gory.
That's the name that jumped to my mind. But anyway,
You might be thinking of Postal.
yes, I'm thinking of Postal.
You might be thinking of Hatred.
Yeah, but so in any case, there are plenty of games out there that do kind of glorify it. But in the sense of where you're trying to make a time-pieced game or like focus on a particular era. Do you stay true to those things and the horrifying things that happen to the men in those wars and the men and women in those wars? Or do you focus on, corrected myself. Or do you, or do you tone it down and try and focus on things? And so they said that the DICE developers and the people that were on this particular panel said that, well, we're trying to be true to what happened and so that people can experience these things as they play the game. And so what my topic kind of was around is that, a lot of people have been trying to come around with games or this, games are an art form. Games, you're gonna be looking at records instead of games while we're down here. Anyway, so a lot of games are very much so, what's the word? Kind of publicized as this big art form or publicized as being something that's like, something to be revered in the gaming community. Like this is a masterpiece. This is amazing kind of thing. And so where does the art stop? And, is it the fact that it's a history piece where people are drawing the line and saying, like, we're emulating the problems of the time, we're emulating the issues that these people went through and all that kind of stuff? Or is this really just more around playing the game and seeing what happens? Like, do those things ever momentarily bother you guys as you play these kind of games where this is happening? Like Uncharted, for instance, has this really tearjerky storyline oftentimes in terms of, like, you're going through. But then
No spoilers.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not necessarily any of them, but he's like, there's always the girl, and she's always in trouble, and things are always happening to him, and it sucks. So it's like, does your emotional entanglement happen with the characters and happen with what happens to them, or is it really just experiencing the story? Does that make sense? The difference there? Because in one hand, you're really just walking through and be like, watching a movie, and on the other hand, you're like, I just got stabbed in the throat. What do I do? It's more visceral for you. So, there. It's kind of a generic topic, but
I think that video games are an art form, and you cannot say that X, Y, and Z is too much for a specific art form. If you do not enjoy torture porn, do not watch Human Centipede, do not watch Hostel, do not watch Antichrist. There is an audience for those things, and they will watch them. You do not have to.
Mm-hmm.
right.
And Battlefield is a huge game. Battlefield 1 is, yes, very gory and
accurate
and gross and whatever. And this is not me like being an official on World War I, but I don't think they're necessarily overplaying it. I mean, it was fucking brutal.
Like, how can you overplay it when it's
Okay.
just
Well,
that
like, there's
intense?
that. I mean, the Engadget article. One thing that really stuck out to me was there was.
Are you gonna talk about the tweet?
Yes, the tweet.
Yeah,
So
that
it
one stuck
referenced
with me too.
a tweet of some guy. I don't even know if
I
it
think
was
just a random guy. that
some
put it on
random
Twitter.
guy or whatever. Yeah, and he was like, "Is Battlefield 1 also going to show a person dying from getting gassed over a 20-hour span and
Where
being
it's
tortured?
just literally unnecessary. Like, you
Yeah,
can't
unnecessary
take it anymore.
pain." And I'm just like, That's not the point, dude. It's like
If
I would actually play that game.
that's the distinction that I've been kind of making the second I read the article, is that would be a different game, right? There would be a point to the development of that game, and they would actually want people to experience something that horrible as like, I mean, I've heard of art, exhibits that are worse than that before, reading articles and stuff.
I mean, like Thomas had a good point of like, I don't like scary movies. I don't go see scary movies. I don't go see like. I'm not going to go see Saw. I don't want to see Saw. Saw doesn't interest me at all.
I don't really like Saw.
So, like, I'm not going to waste money and go see Saw and hate it and, like, get all worked up about it. Of, like, there's plenty of games I don't like. I don't buy them.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to, nobody's forcing you to buy them. Nobody's forcing you to play it. Like, the game can exist.
Yeah, and I think what's even crazier about it is that, I mean, there's a reason the ESRB? Yeah, ESRB. ESRB exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
This will probably be rated,
M for mature.
mature. And oddly enough, that means anyone who's under 16 and won't understand what the heck is really happening on the screen and possibly get traumatized by it can't or shouldn't buy it.
Well,
Yeah, I mean...
shouldn't and can't are totally different.
Oh, they're entirely different things, and I know I will find that 12-year-old on there who's squeaking, but that's fine. That's their thing. I'm not going to
I mean, like, the Engadget guy went
some
into
very
some
interesting
things about, like, he was talking about, I was like, yeah, when I'm playing games like Uncharted and I'm just killing mindless enemies, like, it doesn't bother me because I'm not questioning. I was like,
just because one of them's historically accurate doesn't mean it's any less
yeah,
so
I'm like,
of a story.
that's a
right?
person. Like, if that's your mentality, this is your mentality, and I don't want to attack this guy, but like, that's your mentality. That is a human being you're shooting and mowing down wave after wave of enemies.
Perhaps
rushing
you shouldn't play shooters
or whatever. It was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't. That kind of really upset me, and that's when I made the comment of like, I think this guy's being a little whiny bitch, and he should just grow a pair. Like,
well, it's because
like I don't want to be like just sound like a complete ass and blow the guy off, but like
how about the controversy around press X to pay your respects, right? People thought that was the stupidest thing, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's so immature. Like that's so insensitive to the actual thing happening on the screen." And I'm like, it's still a game. We can't have you wave at the Kinect or like we could, but that seems a little unnecessary. So it's the medium, right? Like you're saying, like it's what happens, and if you don't want to do that, then don't. Right?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, there's plenty of like Lego games. Go buy some Lego Batman
Just
and
don't
just
go buy.
play
Just
that.
don't go buy Disney Infinity. You might have a bad time with that right now.
Yeah, I mean it's one thing that's interesting to me is when I play a video game, like I'm playing Uncharted, I'm playing Battlefield, I'm playing whatever.
Yeah.
For the most part, like even in story games like Metal Gear Solid, when I'm watching like story bits, that's like totally separate from the gameplay for me.
Yeah, yep.
Like when I see a dude, there's no game where I've ever registered like, oh man, I'm about to kill this guy. I'm thinking I need to have the best accuracy possible, and I want to pull this off with like some dope trick at the end. Like everything,
no-scope.
it's all just like an algorithm for me. Like
it's
it being
a
a
game.
human
'Cause it's a
person is
game.
just like a fancy dressing for it. Like I'm not getting off of killing people. I'm getting off from getting good accuracy and
Now, if
clearing
you are
the
doing
challenge.
You might want to see.
I mean,
Well, like which is interesting. Like I watch some fucked up movies and TV shows and shit. Like
you do though.
That's
Can't complain.
like I'm probably watch like the darkest shit in here, and it's
There are no
like,
lights. It's completely pitch black in there.
Games, like it just, but like a gory game is made that way because the developer wants to show you that.
Yep.
And like that's their artistic vision, whether you agree with it or not, and they have a right to make that. If nobody wants to see that, the game will not sell, and they will not make anymore.
Or no Russian.
yeah, I mean,
example.
I do kind of understand his point and like the point of killing humans and stuff like
there's
that
always
is
a
like
line.
of like when you're playing Halo and you've got the party skull on and you shoot one of the little guys'
One of the
heads
grunts
off
in the
and a
hood,
little
and a little
thing
confetti
pops
comes
off
on,
of
and-
like but clearly that's not going to bother. I mean, I understand the mentality of like that there's an alien and that's a human, and there's a difference.
Yeah.
Like I understand
Especially when
that
it's around
mentality.
about history, right?
Yeah,
That's
about-
also it's got a bit more of a realistic angle.
Of like I played through all the Gears of War games, and they never really bothered me.
Right.
Of like,
Yeah.
even though they were human-like aliens,
yeah,
like blowing them off and cutting them in half and shit.
doing all those
Never,
things.
like I was never like, oh well, that could be a that could be a person
what
there
happened to
or
that
whatever.
guy's kids?
But like
What
I
happened to
was
that
reading
alien's
an
kids?
article
I don't know.
about the Division,
Oh yeah,
and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
something similar to this. About it was like this. What if that this person was just going down of like, what if like you're like the Division is actually bad guys? Like you're just going through the city just killing people for no reason.
Yep.
Like you see a guy in a hoodie and you just shoot him because you know he's supposedly a gang guy.
That's racist.
that's racist.
About
I mean,
at
it's
least
kinda
the
is, like-
cleaners you see are actively like killing
Burning
people
people.
and burning people, but like the supposed like gang guys, like they're
just chilling.
in the streets. Like
Looting dead
Loot-
bodies.
I mean, they're
Which the same dead bodies that you are looting.
yeah,
No, yeah, exactly.
they're just
That's
trying.
a comic
I
about
mean,
that actually. That was
you
just
could
like,
argue that like they're just trying to sort like they found a dead body, they're looting it to try to survive the
For sure.
apocalypse that like
I mean,
is happening to their city.
this is completely
About like I never went through the Division. What is
it's Delta. Right?
Keep going.
I'd never understood like I never questioned going through the game being like mowing down all these people.
Yeah, for sure.
About I mean
Right, because we look at them as headshot sponges.
I look at them as credit.
Yeah,
Credit,
I'm not.
credit. Bags. What's the
We've
word?
just been pre-programmed from an early age.
to kill everything in sight. No.
Yes,
So-
to kill actually everything in sight.
So
It's a government program.
I think what's even. What was I going to say about this? It's already gone. It's gone. Don't worry about it.
Also, what's interesting is
that you all need to nut up or shut up.
the cleaners are actually doing the same exact thing as the Division. Just their own vision of what that is.
Oh, okay. I remember now. This is another sidebar, but there's a momentary sidebar. Do,
Okay.
do any of you
Sidebars.
remember that there was an article a while ago that was talking about like why the Division is quote unquote fated
Broken?
to fail? No, fated to fail.
The game or
Because the game's broken?
game.
Oh, okay.
So,
the
but
game
this
doesn't
was
work?
before. I think it might even before it came. Actually, yeah, it was right after the beta. It was before the game came out. Essentially, their concern was that Tom. Oh, it was actually no. I think about it. It was the Angry Joe video. It was the fact that like, he was talking about how the lore is kind of putting it in a box, and attaching the Tom Clancy name means that it has to be very
Oh.
much so anchored in reality,
Uh-huh.
in the sense that this is pretty much what you're gonna get. Maybe maybe they can throw in a new faction. Maybe they can throw in a new obstacle in the sense.
Throw in some thrusters.
Yeah, or like-
make you be able to like fly and shit.
and that's-
like
but,
somebody's trying to shoot you and I can just like jump up in the air and
But see,
shit.
the point is, you can't.
Genius.
But you can't though, because of what the game is. They might throw in new factions for you to fight, or Keener could come back and they might have like a tank for you to blow up next time.
A second virus comes through.
Exactly.
nigga.
And part 2, right? I just thought it was
Part
part D. I thought it was interesting that it's just kind of stuck. And the more I wait for the game to get to the point where I can play again, I'm just concerned.
Well,
We should just sell it back to GameStop.
R.I.P. Tom Clancy. He's dead, and
it was awkward.
they don't have to like. They can just change what the Tom Clancy name means.
They probably just should.
But yeah, it's. I have nothing more to say.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, end sidebar.
Okay.
In topic.
End topic.
That is the end of my topic. I just
Okay.
found it weird.
Social media sidebar. Before we go to our final topic, let's take a quick second to say
To acknowledge,
thank you for watching / listening.
it's been fun. It's
If
been
you
really-
don't know yet, we do have a YouTube channel. We are now shooting video.
just like right now.
If you go to YouTube, I think we might have youtube.com/3dudes1blog, but really you should just go to YouTube and search for 3 Dudes 1 Blog.
Because it'll hit.
It is a very unique search term. Do not search 3 dudes. That will get you something totally different.
Or
It's YouTube.
Or
It
a
won't be
cup.
that bad.
Well, yeah, it's not bad, but there's like anyway.
what were you searching, Thomas?
We're on YouTube. Please like, comment, subscribe.
Because I have any idea.
You know, we
what
have a
that
Twitter.
works.
It's at TDOB Podcast.
.com.
Tell your friends. we are trying to expand.
Ask
Because
us
we
questions.
weren't before. We were trying to keep it small, legit, just for the 5 of you. But now we want you to tell your friends.
Now we want to bring everybody to the party.
We want everybody to the party so that we can make that sweet, sweet podcast money.
Sweet, sweet
I
podcast.
want a sponsorship from Audible. Make that happen.
Why Audible? Give me the elevator
free
speech.
audio books.
Because they said they do everything.
That'd actually be really handy right now because my wife is spending so much money on audiobooks right now. It's fucking insane.
Why?
I don't know.
I have one free book she can have. No, it's mine. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. If you listen to us on iTunes/iPhones, please write a review. If you review us on iTunes, it helps our visibility insanely.
A lot.
Also, if you're listening on Google Play, I think Google Play has a review feature for podcasts. If it's not
just
live
write them a
yet,
letter
it will
and
be
tell us how
soon.
we did.
We are on Google Play as well, so you can subscribe to us there. And that's unless you guys have anything else social media wise.
Tweet us with questions.
Yes, tweet at us. Tweet some questions. Tweet some thoughts.
We did a whole video for the guy who tweeted us last time.
Yeah.
That's how much
So-
dedication we have.
Yes,
Next time we'll just spend weeks.
yes. So that's it, and we'll move on. Sidebar over to. Hey George,
Point of order.
there's no ball up there. You already got the ball.
It's already done.
To my topic, which comes back to my PC gaming roots. But I was going to switch my topic, but I switched it back because I can actually tie this back to console gaming.
Here we go.
Nvidia has
this
announced
trip.
the new GTX 1070 and 1080 graphics cards.
Finally.
We don't have too much. I mean, we have some specs. You don't care about specs.
No.
Here's the hard
TLDR.
line. Here's the hard numbers. The 1080 is over 2 times as powerful as the Titan X,
The one that costs $1,000.
which is right now, if you wanted to buy it, is $1,200.
Dang.
It is 2 times as powerful as 2 GTX 980s.
What did you just say? How many times better than a Titan X?
It's more than 2 times as powerful as a
More
Titan
than
X.
2 times as power than a Titan.
Yes. It is 2 times as powerful as a 980 SLI setup. 980s cost, I don't know, $600, $800 a piece.
So tell us, Thomas, what does this new card cost?
The new GTX 1080 costs $599, $600. So this is
That is bonkers.
crazy. Yes, usually for the last few years with graphics cards in general,
Incremental.
you get like
Incremental.
20%, 15-20%, and everybody's super happy for that. It's
Super
great.
happy.
It's fine.
Fantastic.
But now we have a doubling in performance from one generation, and you know why this is?
Architecture.
Architecture and the 14 nanometer process. Now,
14.
the 1070 is going to be $399, $400. The
AKA my new
1070
card.
is still more powerful than the Titan X, which is a $1,200 graphics
So
card
for
today.
a third of the price, you can get the next best card
Yes, it is crazy.
on June 10th.
Now, I will be
Welcome to
doing anything I can to sell anything I can to.
Is this where you're gonna? Go ahead.
I'm not going to try and sell them here.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is this where you're like, contact me on Craigslist? if
But
you
look
want
in the comments below to see his.
Yeah, no,
He's
no.
gonna have a link
No.
for you where you can sketchily show up. In
I'm
his
just saying,
house in a
like-
hood. Or-
like-
link below to my Craigslist page.
I was done updating this PC.
I was like,
I
is
was
that his
going to
topic?
wait until like everything in my PC was obsolete.
Mike could just ditch it.
Yes. But
Kind of in the same boat.
with this 1070, 1080 announcement, I have to get a 1070
Yeah, if you
because
don't,
it's
you're
like
being silly.
40% more powerful than my current SLI setup, and it will run way cooler, which will be great.
There's no downside to this card,
So here's
minus the fact that it's $400.
here's what's interesting about this.
I'm listening. You've got me on the edge of my seat.
I haven't seen anybody else make this connection. I'm telling you, we're doing it here. We are actually recording on Wednesday,
So if it's on the
May
papers
11th.
on Thursday, you know where they heard it.
May 11th. I haven't seen anybody else say this yet.
I'm in. I'm in.
AMD is also releasing their
cards.
new architecture with the 14 nanometer process.
So you think it's
It
gonna
is expected that the PlayStation Neo is using this new version.
be- okay?
If the new GTX 1080s are 2 times as powerful as a Titan, I would not be surprised
If 4K
if
is
AMD has pushed a 4K GPU in the PS4 Neo that can actually play games at 4K.
easily. Not just play them, just be like, yeah, it's fine.
Think about that.
That's crazy.
Like, I would have, before this NVIDIA announcement, I would have never said this is possible. And it still may not be possible because there's a possibility that AMD will not have made the same gains as NVIDIA has.
Yeah,
because a lot of this stuff of NVIDIA is coming down from their supercomputer division.
Yeah.
And so,
also, AMD usually lags behind NVIDIA.
Well, here's what's interesting. With the newest benchmarks for DX12, which, I mean, the PS4 isn't DX12, but with the newest benchmarks, with the newest technology, AMD is actually 20% more powerful than NVIDIA. With current cards, AMD cards...
which driver did they use?
the ones that were optimized for the benchmark. There's a new
like
DX12 benchmark. So on cards, AMD cards that used to be 5 to 10% less powerful than NVIDIA cards are now 20% more powerful.
That's pretty crazy.
Because architectures are starting to prefer AMD's approach of throw tons of tiny cores instead of NVIDIA's approach of throw less really powerful cores at something.
Yep.
So I will lose my shit, as should everybody else, if Sony actually comes out at E3 and shows, here's the PlayStation 4 Neo, and here is Uncharted 4 in 4K.
What do you think the chances, because especially since you're just talking about the DX12 benchmarks and stuff like that, what do you think the chances of Microsoft are going to do the same thing?
What do you mean?
In the sense, like, they've already talked about the possibility of a new console. What if they try to unveil it at E3?
It would be great.
So can I have a sidebar? Everybody else has had a sidebar.
Yes, you may have a sidebar.
I read an article today by my favorite bro, Paul Tassi.
Paul Tassi.
Shout out.
PT.
And it kind of talks about two things you've been talked about already, Uncharted 4 and PlayStation Neo. And he was speculating that...
I read this.
You read this? That the reason that Sony is come out and fought so hard to not say anything, because, I mean, there's been so many leaks.
Oh, yeah.
That a typical company right now would just come out and say,
here it is.
Screw it. Here it is. We're announcing it.
Game over.
But so Paul's theory was that Sony isn't doing that because of Uncharted 4.
You don't want to kill those sales, bro.
And that if they came out and just said...
Oh, people would stop buying it.
People would not buy...
What's arguably
Uncharted
their biggest
4,
game of the year.
Their only game that's coming out this year. And
I think
so,
Horizon's supposed to come out this year.
I think you're right. Well, No Man's Sky is supposed to come out this year too. Right?
Anyway, continue.
But
it's not the only game.
That clearly Uncharted 4 wouldn't sell. No new PlayStations would sell, and that because like people like have come like people were texting or twittering to Paul Tassi saying, "Should I buy a PlayStation 4 for Uncharted 4?" And he's like, "I can't tell you. Like I don't know what to tell you."
I can tell you what the suspect is, like what the rumor is.
If at E3 Sony announces the PlayStation 4 Neo and you buy a PlayStation 4 today for Uncharted 4,
that's your deal.
Clearly you just got screwed. Big time. Like the biggest screwing you could ever get.
You did not get screwed per se.
We
already went over this.
But I mean, I thought that is like up until that theory, like he said that, I've been under the impression of like, why hasn't Sony just come out and just said, okay, like,
because they can't.
Like you forced us, like you forced our hand. You found out so much information about PlayStation Neo. Like we just had to get out in front of it now. And try to stop the bleeding.
Of course, I will say, idea number 2. Then they'd have nothing to talk about at E3. What if that's most of their
Well, they could show.
They
could show games.
I guess that's true. I
guess
that's
just
really
acknowledge its existence.
We'll show it to you. It'll be there.
Show footage of.
I guess they could just tweet out, "You're right."
But okay, I mean that's kind of I've been into this.
Okay,
but
to continue off of like what you're thinking and all that kind of stuff.
Back to the original topic.
So you'd be super pumped if it was a 4K PS4, obviously, you'd be really excited.
I'm saying a true 4K. Games native to 4K.
Now, so this is my question was what was earlier is like, how is that different than what you were saying earlier in the sense that define native versus I'm assuming you're saying native versus upscale.
Yes.
So instead of it being
So
an
he's basically
upscaled
saying
res,
the PlayStation 4 Neo just becomes an ultra PC.
well, so what bothers
like-
me about that assumption though is that I'm pretty sure they would have to re-release Uncharted 4 for that.
Yeah, and they're
Well,
they're
either
already
that-
working behind the scenes, and they're getting
Probably.
ready to screw everybody over. In 2 months.
Probably, but see, so my point is they could do an update and say
Right,
download
you
the
could
new
do an
assets.
update.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just saying like they could definitely do that, but I don't think they would just say, hey, by the way, your current game is going to be 4K, but you're going to have to make a 12 gig download in order to get all those new assets.
I think it would be like 20 to 30 gigs.
Yeah, it would be huge because
4K
you'd have to get all those
assets are
textures.
giant.
They are
But
huge.
I mean, they could
there are plenty of
and
ways. to be
4K
fun.
Uncharted 4 new disc release is the smallest piece of this.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like the big piece is, all of Sony's documentation says 4K games, 4K games, 4K games, 4K games.
4K games.
And everybody in the industry is saying there's no way they can do real 4K. They must be upscaling, they're up-resing,
But there are these new cards.
which is fine. I mean, I totally expected it to be upscaling and up-resing because console up-resing is a
Normal.
standard now. Xbox One does it on every video game because it can't play games at 1080p. Burn. So it's totally fine, and we have great technology to do that. But what if Sony can't announce it, not because they don't want to, but if they acknowledge it, AMD gets pissed because AMD is holding an event next week to announce their new graphics cards, which is the new graphics chip that is going to be in the PS4 Neo.
Right. I was about to say I can poke a hole in your theory, but
Poke
I
it.
don't think I can. Well, this is okay. I will preface it with thinking I believe I'm wrong. But is it the same chip that would go into a console that they just released, akin to the idea of there are Core i7s for the desktop, and then there are Core i7Ms for the laptop.
Right.
So does that chip actually exist in time, or do you think they might have an early fab?
We know that the chip is 14 nanometers.
Which is fine, but that's
Well,
one thing.
because-
It's definitely small enough that they may not even need to make an M, right?
Well,
except for power concerns.
it's going to be a custom chip because it was a custom chip before. It'll be a custom chip now.
I mean, the Xbox.
But because it's a 14 nanometer chip, we know that it is in some way involved in. It's a brand new chip.
Yeah, I mean, it's brand new architecture.
There's no 14 nanometer chips on the market from anybody right now. So if it is truly a 14 nanometer chip, then AMD developed this new custom chip in tandem with their mainstream one.
Probably.
I mean, when you're AMD right now, you're probably a good percentage of your sales is PS4, Xbox One, and to a far lesser extent Wii U. So it wouldn't be surprising at all if AMD, was really working hand in hand with Sony
It wouldn't
to generate
Which
this.
is why I'm saying I really can't poke a hole because there's a lot of ways it would work.
I mean, this is
But-
all hype train.
But arguably, technically, if Sony even didn't know that they're coming out with this brand new chip, then it's going to be a little bit before they can really use it. So
Right. Well, this is all hype train stuff because for years and years and years, I've been saying, and many other people in PC gaming have been saying, Nvidia is fucking us because they're releasing cards to be just a little bit more powerful than AMD every time. AMD will come out and be like, "Look, we finally beat Nvidia." Nvidia's like, "No, you didn't." And they've been holding. The expectation was that Nvidia was holding back technology until they really couldn't wait anymore. And then they unleash what their real new shit is to everybody and be like, "All right, now we're kicking ass
Welcome
because
to
AMD
Pascal.
is beating us now, so we're going to kick ass and we're just going to go way over everything."
Yeah.
So it's totally possible that AMD just can't even compete with this.
They might come out with just the next R10 at this point.
Right. I mean, if AMD might come out and say, "Okay, we improve performance by 20 to 30%, which is what you expect." And that would not get them to true 4K gaming on PS4.
Yeah.
But if they can do what Nvidia did,
Unless they switch the chip in the PS4K.
I wouldn't be surprised if you could get actual 4K games.
Yeah.
Which would be
that'd be pretty exciting.
amazing.
What about be amazing?
No.
No, just
So
amazing.
when do the actual computer cards come out?
Nvidia's cards come out
May
May
28th.
28th and then June 10th for the
Yes.
1070.
Can't wait.
Yes. I mean, that's
I
when you're really going to know because we don't actually know if these
Can
can
I
play
pre-order
games
them?
at 4K,
Are the pre-orders
but
up?
because Titan X's can play games in 4K at almost 60 FPS, you can pretty much guarantee that this new card will be able to play games at 60
This
FPS.
thing will scream at 1080.
Yes.
Easy.
There's no reason to buy a 1080p modder anymore if you're running 1080s.
Can't wait.
I am so excited. I don't know what to do. Like, I need to sell my old cards before they become worthless, but I also want to be able to use my computer when Overwatch comes out on the 24th. So I don't know.
That's the worst.
I don't know what to do. But I think we need to vote.
I mean, I liked your topic a lot.
It's a breaking news theory.
Breaking news for the podcast.
Breaking news for the gaming industry. You're welcome.
Hashtag TDOB.
So is that one for me?
Yeah.
I got one.
Hardware got one today.
I'll vote for Thomas.
Ooh, Hardware won.
Nvidia all the way.
Apparently,
I'm
I
so
should've-
glad I didn't pick Civilization because I never would have won.
I can't vote for that pansy and gadget guy. He can't get my vote.
I actually have a lot of friends who are excited for Civ 6 rather.
I am hyped. I'm gonna buy it, play it, and say, "Shit, it's missing half the game," and then feel just as bad as I did when I bought Civ 5 when it came out. So, thank you, EA, Sid Meier. You did it again.